What is up, everyone? This is Soul with another video, and today we're going to talk even more about the Legion remix, which was more or less officially announced today in a Wildcast. I'm going to provide a link to this article as well as the full Wildcast if you wanted to go through that. I already watched it with my chat folks over here, and we're going to read through this blog post, but also react to that on top of the information that we learned from the video. Please like this video, by the way, subscribe for more stuff, and let's get right to it. So we're gonna skip a little bit. Okay, down here, what is Legion Remix? Legion Remix is a time-limited seasonal event where players can create a time runner as one of the 12 original Legion classes and replay the entire Legion expansion at an accelerated pace from levels 10 to 80 with some major gameplay twists. Players collect power, face epic challenges, and earn a mountain of cosmetics such as pets, mounts, and transmog gear, but no evokers. No evokers. Sorry, buddy. The OG 12 Legion classes. The rest are going to stay out, and would evokers really be interested? I suppose not. Players can take part in all 12 dungeons, 1 mega dungeon, 5 raids, all the Legion campaign quests, local stories, world quests, class order hall campaigns, artifact quest lines, and a partridge, and Legion assaults, invasions, wither training, and more. No mention of Mage Tower, though. So no Mage Tower, which means no Mage Tower appearances. So just like the Mop remix, we're not going to, how that didn't have the challenge mode stuff, no Mage Tower stuff. Infinite Dragonflight will be accelerating all weekly lockouts, reputation gains, and class order hall missions, so get in and have fun. All right, in Remix, Mr. Pandaria, Eternus from the Infinite Dragonflight was trying to learn more about the past. Now, with the World Soul Saga heating up, she's looking into some of the events that have led up to what's happening now to try and understand more of what's really saved Azeroth from the Legion. So what's new in the Legion Remix? We've added some new gameplay systems with an eye towards capturing the spirit of the original Legion experience. Our goal is to create opportunities for challenge and strategy that players will eventually dominate with epic power. So here is a shot of one of the Mage Frost weapon thing. You can see here it's shaped like a fork. We talked about this in an earlier video where we saw like a demon hunter. So it's kind of shaped the same way where we have like this major ability here. We have these things that increase our stats, and then it's followed by these 5 different forks. I think we'll describe it in just a bit. Well, you have these 5 different forks that give us like some, I guess, insane powers based on the weapon. And then at the very end, once we reach the end of this fork, we have like this infinite, what's probably like an infinite power that we can just keep pumping stuff into for. This is how we get God mode, I guess. This is how we'll eventually be able to one-shot stuff, be pretty much immortal, that sort of stuff, and maybe solo keys. So let's look at the rest though. Instead of the cloak and gem systems from Remix Mr. Pandaria, so none of that agnostic power stuff, we're going all in on artifacts. Every artifact weapon shares a powerful trait tree, and you'll choose a path to go along: nature, fel, arcane, storm, or holy. You won't be locked in, and you can respec anytime. Now made easier with our new quick assign feature, you can control click to spend up to your remaining infinite power towards your selected point, or control right click to refund back the selected point. You'll also find jewelry along the way that lets you add ranks to traits from any path, taking ranks from other paths, or boosting your chosen path beyond its natural limits. Mix and match and customize your artifact weapon. Now, it doesn't give any clear indicator that we're going to get the actual artifact weapon powers that came with them. Maybe not sure. It would be kind of crazy if like that one artifact power that let me hit multiple mobs with my shield, I can increase that, and then I can hit like 50 mobs if, we could actually pull 50 mobs. Moving on, Heroic World Tier. Inspired by Diablo, Heroic World Tier is a new way to play outdoor content. Eternus is experimenting to prepare the champions of Azeroth for what could happen if things got worse. She's empowering creatures to have more health, more damage, and sometimes affix-like buffs, which look like those little icons above them, empowering their difficulty and rewards. While you'll encounter tougher foes, if you can overcome them, you'll reap the rewards in the end. Quick comment on this. So the outdoor vibe, at least when when encountering these like heroic world tiers, it's going to be a different vibe from how it was in the remix, where things were just fairly easy and we were spending most of our time just like farming, finding the fastest things to farm, the hyper spawns, that sort of stuff. How it's going to play out here might be a little bit different, but I still kind of expect sort of the same result because, you know, as hard as things might be out in the open world, everything falls over when you have like a whole zerg of, you know, when you have a party of people or if you have like just people zerging like a certain area. So I'm wondering just how effective are these things going to be compared to like some of the other features that are going to be shown here. So, for example, these time warp obelisks are going to be a thing. Power up with time warped obelisks found throughout Legion Remix. These grant temporary but powerful buffs to players as they explore the world. They gave a couple of examples, and one of the examples, aside from power ups, is there was like a Doom Guard where you click on it, a Doom Guard spawns, it's tough, and if you kill it, then you're going to get things. Now, in practice, okay, click on the thing, Doom Guard spawns, some add-on or some sort of alert thing tells everyone nearby, and then everyone comes in and drugs it down. So I'm wondering again, what will the actual effectiveness of this more difficult outdoor world content be? We'll find out. And then we have Timeworn Keystone Dungeons. For players who love Mythic Plus, we've remixed things a bit more to create Timeworn Keystone Dungeons. We're bringing back most of the affixes from the original launch of Legion and adding 4 new affixes specific to Legion Remix called Eternus's Trials. Still no indication that we'll be able to like solo Mythic Plus if we happen to get that much stronger. Like, will the affixes, you know, still devastate us, or can we overcome them with just like raw power and whatever is the currency that lets us power up our weapons? Then we have this thing called Infinite Research. Each day, players can choose new research assignments to undertake, such as killing demons, running a dungeon, collecting bronze orbs while skywriting, and more. With over 100 quests available and the ability to unlock access to take on multiples at once, you'll have plenty of options. So let's take a quick look at this. Something, any difficulty. This says normal. So I think this has mostly to do with like, okay, this is outdoor content, and then this is a normal dungeon. Complete any normal dungeon using the dungeon finder. Complete any campaign zone chapter. Collect residual time modes while flying, and gather time warped herbs and ores. So pick up the one that fancies you the best. You won't need to check in every day, and you can bank up to 6 days of quests that you can deal while you're ready to take them on, or when you're ready to take them on. So whether you're taking part in Legion Remix daily or only have time on the weekends, you'll be ready to go. So I guess these like eventually start piling up, I suppose. More and more loot, such as this AOTC mount. It wouldn't be a remix without lots of loot to collect. I just want to leave this thing up here. Oh, sights. Fel-infused clasp mounts. We'll get elegant Elven Ashara-inspired robe transmogs, which I hope they show here. They look really cool. Manoroth Shield transmog. You get variants Fel-corrupted swords, which look really awesome. And we'll also have plenty of never-before-released mounts, transmog sets, and more. And again, no Mage Tower appearances. And not exactly a mention of like alternate artifact colors or appearances, or even like old ones that we could just earn through here instead of going through the motions from the original Legion. Legacy rewards include rare transmogs such as Xavius' Shoulders and Scythe of the Endmaker, an original red and new Fel green. Other legacy rewards include the rare mounts like the Leviathan Prowler, the Chakra Urzel, and the Violet Spellwing. Players can also gain new titles such as Chrono Scholar, the Infernal, and of the Infinite Chaos. But again, not much mention at all of old artifact weapons. The cost of loot. Bronze is making its return as a currency players can use to purchase cosmetic items only. Instead of upgrading your gear with bronze, upgrades will drop from all content. Harder content will provide a higher drop chance for upgrades. And in the video, they made the point that while you'll get more of this currency by doing tougher content, you still get the same kind of currency doing whatever you like. So it's not going to be like crests. It's not going to be like, hey, I want to bring up my stuff, but I have to do this difficulty. I got to do keys higher than this in order to get what I want. You can farm whatever you like to get, to get what you want. It's just that the harder stuff you do, you get more of it. And also they definitely responded to the whole critique from before, where people had to choose, how they spent their bronze. Do I spend it on upgrades or do I spend it on cosmetics? There's no longer a choice. You just have these different things to farm for. More character slots. We're also adding 5 new character slots to all World of Warcraft accounts, so you can make even more characters. You also don't have to wait for the end of Legion Remix to move your characters over to play with them in the World Within. Huge. That's a huge win. People were asking for that as soon as we learned about the remix. Hey, can we pull characters out so we can start gearing them up and start doing stuff before the next expansion? Before we only had I think a week after the Legion Remix before the next expansion came out. So very cool. Transferring your character will remove all remix specific items and abilities, clear your quest log, and grant you level appropriate gear and gold. This is all things that we kind of figured. It's a one-way trip if you do that transfer. And here's something that I found to be kind of controversial. So I want to see what folks think in the comments. We're taking inspiration from World of Warcraft Classics phased releases, and we'll be releasing new phases of Legion content to Legion Remix every 2 weeks. We'll start things off with the original launch, and then end with Argus and then Taurus. Each phase is going to bring new content and then bump up to the maximum item level players can reach. So it kind of brings to mind, how long is the remix going to be? Let me read on before I comment more, though. We want to make sure we set a great pace for players to soak in the story, to enjoy the content, and not feel rushed right out the gates. We're going to do that anyway. Each release of content should bring up the nostalgia from Legion, so we're making sure to add some special touches to each one. As an example, in August, we'll have a mini game where you transform into a worm-tongued demon and run around collecting bronze orbs. With each orb you collect, you gain additional speed until the time runs out. Cool. Kind of off topic, but okay, cool. The release of content will still be fast-paced. If you're looking to go on a Legion Remix spree and decide to wait for all the content to be available before you dive in, you'll have plenty of time to do so before the end of the event. Here's an overview of the phases you can expect to experience. Skies of Fire takes up the Skies of the Broken Isles with the original Legion content plus Emerald Nightmare. Rise of the Nightfallen. Continue the Nightfallen story with the Insurrection campaign and new world quests across the Broken Isles. Re-experience the Legion Mega Dungeon and return to Karazhan and take on the Nighthold and Trial of Valor raid. So that's a thing to, I guess, care about. And then there's Legion Fall. Establish a foothold on the Broken Shore, take on Legion assaults, and fight your way into the Cathedral of Eternal Night and Tomb of Sargeras. Then there's Argus Eternal. Replay the Argus campaign across 3 deadly zones. Take on the seat of the Triumvirate and Antorus, the Burning Throne. Finally, there's Infinite Echoes as the Legion Remix timeline begins collapsing, say your goodbyes, and embrace the chaos. Well, let me read this last part. To wrap up your experience on the Legion Remix, you'll be able to say goodbye to all of the Infinites, your friends and allies you made along the way, and embrace the chaos as the timeline begins to collapse. So let me kind of break this down a little bit. So the way that they're talking about this, every 2 weeks, we're going to get a new phase. So Skies of Fire is phase 1. 2 weeks later, Rise of the Nightfallen. 2 weeks later, Legion Fall. 2 weeks later, Argus Eternal. Then 1 month is going to go by, and we'll get Infinite Echoes. So 1 month, around 2.5 months, something like that. Am I counting that right? So 2 weeks, 2 weeks. 2 weeks for that, 2 weeks for that, 2 weeks for that, and then 1. Yeah. So, yeah, that's going to be a while. Right? That's how it seems like. 1, 2 and some months. Because I wonder when is Midnight going to come out? When is this going to release? Where does player housing fall in with all of this? I guess so they're pointing out 3.5 months. I mean, that works out, I think. It feels like that's going to be a little bit longer than what the MOP remix was, which is cool. What's going to be challenging for some players is how is the content going to be split apart? What's going to happen for people who really want to get every class appearance or whatnot? Are they going to have to play through each class? and go through the motions there, or are they just going to have to do it one time and they'll be able to like buy things for all the class? It might be something like that, where when you do the class storyline on one character, you get all this cool stuff, and then you can just spend bronze or whatever it is to buy like the other appearances in case you don't feel like playing through. Or of course, you could just make another character, go through the motions there as well. Because some people may not want to do that; they just want to have the options. Experience the 11.2.5 content update on PTR, which tells us, okay, it's going to be on the 11.2.5. Players going to experience a portion of it for a limited time. This content patch also has some additional improvements to the cooldown manager, including a new frame, which will allow ordering, hiding, and unhiding of spells and debuffs. Turbo Boost is all... Turbo Boost. What I tell you. Turbo Boost is coming back for a Season 3 shortly after the release. It's returning for a Season 3. Shortly after the release of the 11.2.5 content update, which is typical. So visit PTR forums for information. We can't wait to see on the Broken House and Legion remix when the 11.2.5 content update goes live, yada, yada, yada. So timeline wise, okay, so the remix is going to happen during 11.2.5. Maybe not day one of 11.2.5, but maybe sometime a little bit after. It's going to be timed somewhere with the turbo boost. And then we're going to get like that many months. Now, I wonder, when will the remix end? Is it going to end like 1 week before the 1 week before Midnight launches, like it did for the Mob remix and the War Within? Or is it going to follow like a different sort of flow? Not sure quite yet, but that's kind of the basis that we have so far. But kind of interesting. I'm still kind of like about the whole phasing thing. I don't feel like this is necessary. I'd like folks, I think I liked it when we could just kind of do whatever we want, rather than try to shoehorn like a shared experience, because it's gonna feel like dogs wanting to be let out the gate, and I wonder to myself, during these phases, how long or how far along these tracks am I going to be able to go? Am I going to get hamstrung here too? Am I only going to be able to get like so much bronze or whatever it is in the meantime? And because of this too, like, I wonder to myself, maybe I'll like go hard at the start, and then I'm going to wait until everything, if I go hard at the start, I'm going to try to do my best to reach like escape velocity, get to God mode. And then after that, I'm going to wait until we get to this stage here. If we get to Argus Eternal, and then I'll be like, all right, now I'm going to do everything else, and I'll just do everything else, which is fine, maybe. But is that intended? Is that going to be something that the WoW team is like cool with? Because that's what they're going to get, for me at least. So that's my take. This is a lot of commentary. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts. What do you guys think of this so far? What do you think of what's coming or what's not coming? Share your thoughts in a comment below, like and subscribe, and maybe I'll see you on the PTR. We'll find out more and I'll cover it. So yeah, I'll see you guys for the next thing. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.